Tonight on 7 News, Iran strikes back. Missiles fired in every direction. More countries dragged into the conflict. The Middle East now on the brink of all-out war.
3 American soldiers killed and innocent lives lost in Israel. But Donald Trump swears he won't stop until Iran's regime is obliterated.
Outrage as Sydney prayer halls mourn the Ayatollah. The Premier says it's atrocious. Tensions rising here at home.
Canberra says time has run out to help thousands of Australians trapped in the battle zone.
Fears for Australia's fuel reserves if the conflict drags on. Could petrol actually run out?
Also, breaking news on the mould crisis in Sydney's hospitals. We have exclusive details on the deaths of 2 children.
And a huge moment for the Metro West, but the Premier has derailed the party with a clanger about his future.
Live from Sydney, this is 7 News with Angela Cox and Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. More countries are being drawn into the Middle East war as Iran declares it will not negotiate despite Donald Trump vowing to destroy the regime. Explosions have rocked a British base on Cyprus and there are evacuations in Lebanon with Israel bombing Beirut after Hezbollah joined the bloodshed.
Iran is not letting up, firing more missiles and drones, hitting airports and an oil tanker and triggering much more travel chaos. Thousands of Australians remain stranded in the region. For many, their holiday plans are now in disarray. Our chief reporter Chris Reason is live in Tel Aviv and begins our comprehensive coverage.
Determined to avenge the death of its leader, Iran fires back. In Beit Shemesh, Israel, a school, synagogue, homes and a bomb shelter flattened. It's where dozens sought shelter but became a target.
We had children inside this building, young children.
9 killed, 27 injured, and Iran's fierce retaliation kept coming. Waves of missiles targeting Jerusalem. Israel is Iran's main target, but it's firing beyond in a fierce counterattack, striking a US airbase in Kuwait, killing 3 American soldiers, another in northern Iraq. In the UAE...
We've just been hit by a drone. It stinks of oil in here. I didn't even finish my cup of tea.
3 more civilian deaths. Oman also targeted. Its commercial port and an oil tanker off its coast hit. Last week, the Omanis had been brokering a peace deal for Iran.
Defending ourselves, and we have every right, every legitimate right to defend ourselves. What the United States is doing is an act of aggression.
On state TV, showing off their arsenal of drones and rocket launchers, an underground tunnel adorned by flags and images of the late Supreme Leader. This Iranian missile fired into Tel Aviv, tore through an apartment block, blowing it to pieces with families inside.
Hello?
1 woman was killed here, but dozens survived.
But we're kind of happy for this shit in Iran that happened.
You're happy, even though this is the result.
This is the result. This is the price that we need to pay, but of the future seems to be much more scary, you know.
The key question now, as the death toll and the devastation mount, is how much longer can this conflict continue? Whether it's days, weeks or longer, it might not be an issue of political support, but munitions supplies. Both sides only have a finite number of missiles, likely only enough for 4 weeks of war. It follows this, one of America and Israel's first strikes of the conflict, bombing Iran's military headquarters, a move that has ignited deep divisions within that country. Many are celebrating Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death, hoping it triggers a regime collapse, but others mourn the loss of their supreme leader. Thousands defiantly protest the attacks, chanting, "Death to America." In Iraq, Iranian sympathisers stormed Baghdad's Green Zone to be met by police. In Pakistan, rioters attacked the US consulate, breaching the outer wall. Security guards opening fire 22 people were killed. Iran's remaining leaders meeting overnight to elect not one leader but 3 temporary ones. The president, chief justice and a senior cleric sharing power until an assembly of experts meets to elect a new supreme leader, similar to a papal conclave at the Vatican. The new chosen Ayatollah must be a man and must be a cleric. And in that power vacuum, Iran concedes it no longer has complete control of its military.
Our military units are now, in fact, independent and somehow isolated.
That power struggle as America and Israel continue to unload. Tehran's skyline filled with smoke. Iranian fighter jets targeted before they even get off the ground. The US says it struck 9 Iranian Navy ships and killed 48 senior Iranian officials.
The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu not afraid, standing exposed on a rooftop in Tel Aviv. This combination of forces enables us to do what I've long hoped to do for 40 years, he says, to strike the terror regime decisively. 2 days in, there's no sign of Iranian collapse in a region rendered unpredictable, volatile and divided.
The Middle East is waking to a wave of fresh strikes. Live to Chris Reason in Tel Aviv. Chris, Lebanon's capital has now been hit.
This is a serious escalation, guys, as this war spills over into yet another country. Pre-dawn hours, Hezbollah, the terrorist organisation based in southern Lebanon, decided to launch attacks into northern Israel and put out a statement shortly afterwards saying it was a revenge attack for the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The IDF, the Israeli Defence Forces, were quick to respond. They scrambled jets up and started pounding targets in southern Lebanon all the way up to the capital, Beirut. They did issue a warning to residents beforehand. That sparked a stampede. You can see the pictures there. Cars by the thousand, people on foot as well, trying to get into the safety of northern Lebanon. The president of Lebanon pleading for both sides to back down, condemning the attacks from both sides. We wait to see what will happen there, but not great news. We're also getting some extraordinary vision in, guys. It's been going viral online. We're getting it confirmed, but CNN said it at least is geolocated. But a plane, an F-15 Strike Eagle American, that's been hit, and you can see it there spiralling down in a tailspin before it hits the ground. The pilot and his co-pilot, his weapons analyst, have survived uninjured. They've been videoed getting into a vehicle. It appears as though this plane has been shot down by an American Patriot missile system. American shooting down Americans. Obviously, friendly fire, a mistake. No word yet from CENTCOM, the organisation that looks after the military in the region for the US. Iran is claiming that it did it. That's been dismissed as a fabrication. We're waiting for more details and official confirmation on that, guys.
Chris Reason with the very latest from the Middle East. Thank you. Now let's go to Rob Scott in Washington, D.C. Rob, the world's been warned this conflict will last not days, but weeks.
That's right, Mark. Donald Trump says it'll probably take at least another 4 weeks to achieve all of the mission objectives. So it looks as though we're in for another month ahead of bloodshed. Donald Trump also confirming tonight the first US casualties in this war. 3 US service personnel killed, another 5 wounded. Donald Trump says they died as patriots, but he's warning that there are likely to be more US deaths in the weeks ahead. Also tonight, we're learning that the Iranian regime is pushing back against claims from the US president that they have reached out to him wanting to talk. They say they are not willing to negotiate. They've tried diplomacy before and it hasn't worked.
Touchdown in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump looking every bit the Commander-in-Chief as he boarded Marine One for the sweep to the White House. For a waiting press pack and a waiting world, the questions are many.
What is your goal, Mr. President?
But from Trump, there was nothing. He walked and he waved. Earlier, from Florida, a recorded speech.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. Nobody's seen anything like it. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. Not going to let it happen.
But America is already paying a price.
Breaking tonight, U.S. troops killed in the Middle East.
At a military base in Kuwait.
3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action, and sadly, there will likely be more.
And for the president, that is a problem.
Big part of the MAGA base did not want another war in the Middle East. This is a betrayal of a decent chunk of the MAGA base.
And this is a problem too. In Austin, Texas overnight,
somebody advising there's an active shooter.
2 dead, 14 injured after a gunman went wild in a downtown bar. The 53-year-old was reportedly wearing a shirt coloured in the Iranian flag. The message on his sweater, property of Allah.
There were indicators that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
Americans have learnt these lessons before, as Democrats push for a vote this week to throttle the president's wartime powers.
I think the president has started a war of choice. There was no imminent threat to the United States.
But from Republicans, the president is annihilating evil.
The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead.
For now, Donald Trump appears more focused on the bombing than on talking, suggesting that this conflict could go on for 4 weeks, and again saying it'll last as long as is necessary to secure America's safety.
To the Iranian regime, there was this.
Lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. Won't be pretty.
And to the Iranian people, this.
I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you.
In Washington, D.C., Rob Scott, 7 News.
Now to Ben Downey in London. Ben, Britain's now been dragged into this fight.
And it is firmly in the frame. A suspected drone strike hit a British RAF base in Cyprus, one of the nation's key military outposts in the eastern Mediterranean. It's understood there were no casualties. The damage was relatively limited, but British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has now granted permission to the United States to use British military bases for what he says will be defensive strikes against Iranian military sites.
We have taken the decision to accept this request, to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk, and hitting countries that have not been involved.
But with rising tensions and retaliation threats, there are serious concerns Britain could be further dragged into this war.
Ben Downey in London, thank you. While millions around the world are celebrating the death of the Ayatollah, several Shia mosques across Sydney are now planning to honour the former Iranian leader with 3 days of mourning. That has sparked outrage among politicians and the Jewish community, the Premier calling it atrocious.
To most, he was a cruel, oppressive leader, but at this prayer hall in Sydney's south, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is revered and now mourned.
Sadness. We lost one of our biggest scholars, Islamic scholars, religious scholar.
The Shiite centre, one of several across the city, openly inviting members to honour Iran's slain leader.
He was very well respected from everyone. And it's a loss.
Announcing 3 days of prayers to honour the martyrdom of His Eminence, the guardian jurist and supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution.
It's not something strange for us to do something for his soul.
The Premier outraged, saying the Ayatollah deserves nothing.
By any objective measure, the Ayatollah was evil, and I don't think that we should be mincing words about this. I think we can call the mourning of this tyrant atrocious, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Criticism too from Australia's Jewish community. Any Australian mosque or centre honouring Khamenei should immediately be subject to a criminal investigation. We cannot allow terrorists to be glorified in our country or for such actions to occur without consequence. Unapologetic Sheikh Kamal Muslimani says it's his religious right.
You know, it's a free, Australia is a free country.
Here at Kingsgrove, members of this mosque will gather at 9 o'clock tonight for a prayer vigil as their second day of mourning comes to a close. It's one of at least 4 centres across Sydney planning similar events. Members telling 7 News they felt obligated to do something in honour of their leader, who they claim died a martyr. They've condemned the Israeli attacks, calling the assassination of the Ayatollah a breach of international law.
Emily Francis, thank you. The Prime Minister admits help for the more than 100,000 Australians currently in the Middle East is limited.
With airspaces shut as missiles rain down from the skies, it is an anxious wait for Australians stranded in the war zone.
Al Minhad Air Base near Dubai, Australia's operational headquarters in the Middle East. Home to 100 military personnel not involved in the airstrikes but living beneath the constant crossfire in a region on the brink of war.
All of those serving men and women are accounted for and right now are safe.
As life for thousands of Australian expats and holidaymakers swirls with uncertainty.
It's just surreal, really surreal.
137 missiles and 209 drones have lit up the Emirates skyline, most intercepted, one exploding near Dubai's luxury Fairmont Hotel.
We heard 4 huge booms and the windows really shook in the apartment.
We have about 115,000 people in the region.
And thousands of them want to come home, but with the airspace closed indefinitely, can't.
The fastest way we can try to get people home is if commercial flights recommence.
Government sources say discussions are underway with the airlines to put on additional flights once the airspace does reopen. But with hostilities increasing, no one knows when that will be. The Department of Foreign Affairs has opened a 24-hour crisis centre in Canberra, asking all Australians wanting to leave the region to register online or over the phone.
Our first priority is the safety of Australians in the region.
But
our ability to provide consular assistance in Iran is extremely limited.
And so are the options for thousands of Australians desperate to fly home. The government says chartered repatriations simply aren't possible at the moment. Even RAAF jets can't carry passengers out because of the airspace shutdown. And when flights do resume, increased services run by those commercial airlines will be the best option because they'll be able to get more people out sooner. The government, though, did manage to extract large numbers of diplomatic family members in the days before the airstrikes. They left on commercial flights before the shutdown. But the official advice now for those remaining in the region is to shelter in place.
Mark Riley in Canberra, thank you. With the situation changing by the hour, it's not clear just how long Australians will be stranded.
What is certain, those caught up in the chaos now face expensive backup plans as many insurance companies run for cover.
An airport parking lot on such a scale, only a seismic world event could make it happen. Missiles fly in the Middle East, but the region's planes are grounded. Ben Cliff was booked with Qatar tonight to return to England.
We're meant to be going on pre-season tour on Saturday to Abu Dhabi as well. So we're like, well, that's probably not going to happen. And then it's just like, how are we going to get home?
Abu Dhabi might be off the cards, but he has friends there.
It's just surreal that they're in hotels that we've been in and they're playing at grounds we've been in and they're just, taking shelter, really.
We've got a go bag right at our hotel front door with passports, wallets, credit cards, a change of clothes.
The 3 affected airlines are going day by day. Next update is from Etihad, 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Emirates an hour later tonight. Qatar just extended its airspace closure until at least tomorrow.
If the regime is intent on doing harm to the Persian airlines, then this could take a long time.
As frustrating as it is for the airlines to have these planes grounded here, Australia is a pretty safe place for them to sit and wait it out. But it's not cheap. Airports charge them thousands of dollars to park them here. Still, the cost of overnight parking is cheaper than replacing a jet.
The Middle Eastern market is a very important route, air corridor into and out of Australia. 157 return flights on any standard week.
The airspace shutdown costs Emirates an estimated $134 million a day. It'll cost customers too. Travel insurance rarely covers cancellations from war.
There's a reason why exclusion of war policies exist, and that is because they're very large events and they're almost impossible to be able to price.
Kate Miller's UK trip has been in the works for 2 years.
Qatar have said that they will refund the airfare, but it's not even their full amount of the airfare that you actually pay.
Chinese carriers currently have some of the cheapest fares to Europe. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
The conflict may seem a world away, but the consequences here at home could be dire. Our fuel stockpile is well below the international standard, triggering fears we could even run out, with oil prices already spiking.
Ablaze in the most sensitive and now most dangerous oil corridor on Earth. A Palau-flagged oil tanker burns in the Strait of Hormuz, the channel off Iran's south coast that feeds 1/5 of the world's exported oil and gas.
We're in real trouble.
One Nation's Barnaby Joyce on the decades-long decline in Australian refining that leaves the country highly reliant on imported oil.
But we've got the same old policy, cross those fingers, everything will be fine. We are completely unprepared for this.
The International Energy Agency mandates members stockpile at least 90 days of oil supply for emergencies. Where are we?
34 days in relation to diesel, 32 days in relation to jet fuel, and 36 days in relation to petrol.
And Chris Bowen says that's the highest it's been for 15 years. Is this a dangerous moment?
Yes, a very dangerous moment, because we don't know how this will escalate.
Ian Dunlop spent more than 3 decades as a global oil industry executive. He says if the current crisis drags on for weeks, petrol queues will just be the start of our problems.
Commercial supplies get slowed down, supplies to supermarkets get reduced, critical issues like hospital supplies and so on could be affected.
All of which would stoke Australia's inflation problem. It's an economic storm that might still miss us, though oil prices are already climbing. Brent crude now 13% above last week's low as the Iran fight chokes Middle Eastern supplies. Tim Lester, 7 News.
And we'll have 7 News special coverage tonight at 9:15 with Michael Usher, the very latest from the Middle East, with special guests and expert analysis.
Time to check today's weather now with Amber Laidler. Amber, a cloudy start to the working week.
And Mark, good evening. Yeah, it did remain dry though, but boy, it was humid across the city. Temperatures too hovering well above average. 29 was the top up at Wyong, at Cronulla and across much of the west. While it has remained dry here, locally intense rainfall is impacting large parts of the state. Broken Hill has now seen almost a third of its average annual rainfall in just 2 days. More than 60 mils also recorded in just 2 hours elsewhere early this morning. Warnings for heavy rainfall remain in place tonight, with that very broad rain band now heading our way. As for when it will reach us here on the coast, I'll have those details coming up in your full forecast soon.
See you then, Emma. Thank you. Hospital mould making the sick even sicker. Next, exclusive details, 2 children's deaths linked to problems at Westmead.
What tactical police found when they arrested Blacktown's alleged brothel gunman.
Just joking or a major mistake did the Premier reveal when he plans to leave the top job.
And catching the Newcastle crocodile, even the Wrangler couldn't believe his luck.
Welcome back. We have shocking new details tonight about 2 more deaths in a Sydney hospital linked to mould. This time the patients were vulnerable children.
Live to Serena Andaloro with the exclusive details. Serena, what can you tell us?
Mark, and 7 News has managed to confirm at least 2 children have somehow picked up mould infections at the Children's Hospital at Westmead last year. Both were cancer patients. And while New South Wales Health says these types of infections are not uncommon in immunocompromised patients, staff say they knew and they raised concerns. Exposed, another lethal mould scare, this time at the Children's Hospital at Westmead.
I mean, this is kids now, sick and vulnerable kids.
Hospital whistleblowers and senior health sources telling 7 News at least 2 children in oncology have died since December 2024 with invasive fungal infections. Health says they were immunocompromised. The mould infections not deemed a conclusive cause or listed on their death certificates, but staff knew.
We have hospitals across our state under construction at the moment.
Redevelopment work was underway at the time, like at RPA, where lethal mould likely spread from construction was linked to the deaths of transplant patients.
We feel desperately bad about that for the families that have been affected.
At Westmead, the old buildings are riddled with so-called risks, according to health documents. In the mother and baby unit, repeated warnings, increasing water damage, water leaking through light fittings every time it rains, fears the organisation's reputation may come into disrepute. Vulnerable newborns could be exposed, staff experiencing headaches. The Health Minister today revealing he personally wasn't aware of the deadly mould cluster at RPA until a few weeks ago.
No one in your office thought to ring and tell you.
It was being managed by New South Wales Health.
Well, you're the Health Minister. How can you not know?
He denies a cover-up, but even he wasn't told about the RPA deaths or any deaths at Westmead. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Former State MP Rory Amon has given evidence at his own trial insisting he did not rape a 13-year-old boy. The 36-year-old took to the witness box and claimed he met the complainant on a gay dating site before meeting up in person on Sydney's northern beaches in 2017. Amon said his alleged victim told him he was 17 years old and the encounter was completely consensual.
A standoff between a suspect holding what looked like a gun and police in Sydney's west has ended peacefully. Police say the 22-year-old refused to leave a brothel in Arndale Park and was allegedly armed. The standoff lasted hours as tactical officers were called in. The man was arrested just before 9 o'clock last night when police found the weapon was a replica. Our coverage of the Middle East conflict continues after the break. Why the US and Israel decided to strike now and the firepower they are using.
Tunnelling complete, history for the Metro West, but Chris Minns steals its thunder.
How the Aussies fared at a glitzy Oscars warm-up.
From nostalgic to new, this year's top toys according to the experts.
And ahead in sport, you can't handle the truth. Ivan Cleary tells the NRL to get better cameras after his stint as a judiciary lawyer.
The conflict in the Middle East is expanding tonight with more missiles launched at targets from both sides.
And we're learning more details about why the US and Israel moved to strike now. Here's foreign editor Hugh Whitfeld.
American and Israeli intelligence had been watching Iran's supreme leader for months. Rarely did the country's senior leaders meet together, but they did on Saturday morning inside the Ayatollah's compound. That's when Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu hit go. Iran's leaders were spread across 3 separate buildings. The unexpected daylight strike clinical and effective. The US and Israel have continued to pound Iranian targets, the US unleashing an extraordinary amount of firepower, including Tomahawk missiles, rocket systems using fighter jets and stealth bombers, and for the first time, suicide or kamikaze drones too. Israel says its air force has dropped nearly 2,000 bombs on Iranian targets already. Some of its pilots are flying 3 sorties a day. Iran's response has been largely limited to the region for now. It's launched at least 541 drones at the UAE alone, 165 ballistic missiles. Most have been shot down, but not all. The US has permanent bases across the Middle East. Most have come under Iranian attack, and Tehran is reaching further afield, attacking a UK Air Force base in Cyprus too. Britain is now allowing the US to use its bases in Diego Garcia and Gloucestershire as well. This conflict expanding.
We've hit a major milestone for Sydney's transport network with tunnelling on the Metro West officially finished. But the Premier derailed his own announcement with an unexpected slip about when he plans to finish up in the top job.
Going to work on Sydney's future, Premier Chris Minns gave a look at his own.
2032 and beyond, what's your dream for how this city looks?
Well, I won't be here, at least in this role.
His office later walking it back, saying it was just a joke. A rare misstep from the Premier, popular in the polls heading into an election next year.
I don't know what the future holds. I might get beat in 2027.
But if he's not here in 6 years' time, his legacy could be a redesigned Sydney. The Metro West line has finished tunnelling, finally breaking through beneath Hunter Street in the city. 23,000 workers ripping out almost 15 million tonnes of rock, Australia's biggest urban rail project.
There's literally an underground city right where we stand, where people will be able to easily transit across those lines.
Slashing travel times. Westmead to Olympic Park in 7 minutes, then on to Balmain in 11.
Commuters will have to wait a little longer to tap on and tap off at the Sydney Metro West. It's not planned to be completed until 2032. This is all part of the grand plan for Australia's biggest city.
Wanting more houses near public transport.
We can legitimately say to the next generation of young Australians, there's a place for you.
Even if he's no longer in charge. Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Aussie stars couldn't catch a break at today's big pre-Oscars show. Sarah Snook, Jacob Elordi and Rose Byrne were nominated for actor awards, previously the Screen Actors Guild, but all three missed out. There was a moving moment when Catherine O'Hara won an award just weeks after her death.
She really showed that you can be a genius and be kind, and one of those things does not have to come at the expense of the other in any way, shape or form.
Sinners won big, setting up a showdown at the Oscars with Best Actor going to Michael B. Jordan. Catching a crocodile out the back of Bunnings. Just ahead, the splash and grab caught on camera, but are more crocs lurking.
What went wrong? Kyle has his say with Jackie O in hiding.
How the market's reacting to the Middle East bloodshed. Money Talks is next.
And soon in sport, too good to miss, the AFL boss can't help but watch the NRL's Vegas spectacle.
Hello. The volatility in the Middle East spread to global markets today. The ASX falling sharply in early trading before clawing back its losses. There were definitely winners and losers, though. The travel sector in particular got hammered. Energy stocks, though, soared along with the oil price, so expect to pay more for fuel in the coming weeks. Gold again seen as the safe place for investors, while defence stocks also lifted. The likes of Drone Shield and Austal seeing solid jumps. Now, as far as the RBA goes, some economists say if this conflict persists, it may compel the central bank to hold fire on interest rate hikes for the time being. So the ASX 200 finished where it started by the close. Banks and tech stocks were the biggest drag today. The Aussie dollar is weaker, buying just under 71 US cents.
Kyle Sandilands has broken his silence on the feud that's seen co-host Jackie O disappear from their top-rating Kiss FM radio show. The star host said he's apologised for hurting her feelings.
I've obviously hurt her feelings, but I think maybe something else is going on, because it seems to be a bit of an overreaction from just that, because we've had worse Barneys before.
He says it's not the end of their long-running partnership and expects her to return in a week's time. It's not known as croc country, but there's no denying it now after a baby crocodile was pulled from a creek in the Hunter.
We have the exclusive video of a reptile park ranger taking a leap Steve Irwin would have been proud of.
He's got him? You got him? He's got him!
After hours on the prowl...
Oh, look at you, little Tucker! Wow, mate! Whoa!
But this isn't croc country, it's suburban Wall's End in Newcastle.
How the hell is that a crocodile? I'm behind Bunnings.
The freshwater croc was first spotted on Saturday and evaded capture until last night.
Well, spectacle's an understatement, I think.
Teresa Purnell tried to help.
I thought, OK, I'll go out and attend and see if I can catch it. I did bring a couple of long-handled nets with me.
One local had a unique idea.
I thought it was a great idea to put a rump roast in the water.
If we saw the croc, I would have jumped on it.
No other crocodiles were found in the search last night, and the warning signs have now come down. But locals swear they've seen at least 3 more swimming in the creek.
It could be the case. You can't discount it.
And as for how a croc ended up in a Newcastle creek...
Usually it's because people have taken them out of the wild.
There's no better spot for it to be, really, because, you know, it's Wall's End.
Brianna Jackson, 7 News.
And Sunrise will have a breakfast TV exclusive interview with croc wrangler Billy Collett tomorrow morning. That's from 5 a.m.
Who's who in the countdown to the state election still to come? Sydney voters have their say, the big issues, but do they recognise the leaders?
And from Pokemon to Care Bear, old school toys are cool again. Don't miss those stories soon on 7 News. But now Tom is back with sport, and Tom, Ivan Cleary now has a new legal mission.
He does. Good evening, guys. The Panthers coach says he's done being a lawyer after clearing his son at the judiciary, but he's got plenty of legal advice for the NRL. Details next. Plus, a very different legal battle that could result in Zach Lomax running out for the Melbourne Storm against his old side. And end of over. Alyssa Healy finally finds something she can't do very well in her last white ball outing. The Panthers have received a huge blow, losing Liam Martin for Friday's opener against the Broncos with a calf injury. It's a headache for coach Ivan Cleary, who today called for changes to trial game bans after begrudgingly playing lawyer for son Nathan at the judiciary.
Ivan Cleary isn't known for being the most emotive of coaches.
Yeah, I'm not nervous yet, but excited, definitely, yeah.
But it was plain to see he'd much rather have that job than taking up a law career.
No. Definitely not a very good study area though.
Ivan successfully defended son Nathan at the judiciary for his high hit charge, freeing him to face the Broncos in Friday's opener. But the Panthers coach hopes it's one and done.
It was a disappointing thing to actually go through, really. I don't think a lawyer needed to be able to, show a couple of still shots on a video to show that it actually didn't happen. So maybe the NRL need to update their TVs or something.
Cleary eager to see greater leniency for charges in the pre-season.
Yeah, just trial games. I think there needs to be a little bit of understanding that players are still trying to find their timing.
For now, all he wants to focus on is their return to Suncorp Stadium, the first time since last year's prelim final heartbreak.
It's quite romantic. You turn up to the place we lost in the same game last year. Maybe that adds a little bit to it. I don't know.
Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam trained away from their Broncos teammates today, but insist they're good to go.
A few sore bodies at the moment, but it's nothing new. I mean, we carry those week in, week out.
Reynolds slapping down talk that players are already fed up with Michael Maguire's hardline coaching.
I don't know how many times we have to put it to bed. It's just rumours. Obviously, everyone on the outside can say whatever they want to say, and it tends to take off.
James Manton, 7 News.
The Eels and Storm are closing in on an agreement over Zach Lomax's contract impasse. The former Parramatta winger's hearing at the Supreme Court was set to begin today, but was adjourned to tomorrow with the clubs on the verge of a breakthrough. It could allow Lomax a shock debut against his former team on Thursday night. In Las Vegas, the Bulldogs, Knights, Dragons and Cowboys have all flown home after kicking off the season stateside.
We're the envy of all sports in Australia because we saturate the media, we take up all the oxygen. I had a couple of media executives say that, you wouldn't know any other sport was on other than rugby league.
The NRL's considering playing a double-header in London next season. 3 days out from the AFL season opener, even the Rival Codes boss was talking about NRL's Vegas spectacle at their opening round launch at Town Hall this morning.
I saw a little bit of it on the TV yesterday, and as they've done the last few years, executed it really well, and it's a good way for them to start their season. We do things differently.
After missing last season with injury, Swans forward Logan McDonald is itching to play alongside star recruit Charlie Curnow.
Yeah, he's been great. He's a big presence. He's fit in with the group seamlessly. I'm just in awe watching him in training, the way he moves.
Sydney opens the season against Carlton at the SCG on Thursday. The goals are back, but Sam Kerr's backflips will have to wait after scoring for the Matildas for the first time in 851 days in last night's home Asian Cup opener.
Confidence again, I think that's probably where I'm strongest. I don't know. I guess that's for other people to judge.
Still working back to full fitness after her injury layoff, Kerr scored the only goal in the 1-0 win over the Philippines in Perth. The Matildas now head to the Gold Coast for Thursday's second group game against Iran. Alyssa Healy's determined to enjoy every last moment of her career. After blasting 158 in the third and final one-dayer against India, the retiring Aussie skipper decided to roll the arm over two.
To do something like that just makes me laugh. I've never had a bowl in international cricket, so I thought, why not tonight?
Australia defended their huge total of 409 in Hobart, winning by 185 runs in Healy's last white ball game. They take an unassailable 4-point lead into the multi-format series Test finale. Husband Mitch Stark was in the commentary box as well. He was not too impressed, but I think she can do anything she wants at this stage.
I hope he wasn't too cheeky.
He wasn't.
Might be in trouble tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. There's a little over 12 months until the next state election, and we've hit the streets of Sydney to find out the big issues on voters' minds.
But as the Premier and his opposition challenger ready their campaigns, their biggest test might be to make sure voters know who they are.
A year from facing off in an election, Chris Minns and Kelly Sloan facing the recognition test.
There's somebody off television.
7 News showing images of the two leaders to 100 voters.
Really, I couldn't tell you.
Could not tell you?
I could not tell you.
She's one of the news readers.
That's Angus Taylor.
Well, that could be you. Is that you in disguise?
I have no idea who she is. I've never seen her.
That's the Premier, Mike Minns. Chris Minns.
Kelly Sloan, opposition leader less than 4 months, but still familiar in a way.
She's a presenter on television.
He's a reporter of some description, and so is she.
30% didn't recognise Chris Minns, 72% couldn't place Kelly Sloan.
It's not uncommon for opposition leaders to have little or no recognition at all.
The voters from 5 different Sydney centres. In Parramatta and Penrith, the biggest issues:
cost of living,
groceries, electricity, all of it. Yeah. I don't think I'll be ever be able to buy a house.
Hospitals need fixing.
In Double Bay, it's
the anti-Semitism that's going on, and taxes. They've got to lower the taxes.
In Cronulla, more local.
Getting a hold of all these kids on e-bikes.
Running people over, and something needs to be done.
The 2027 state election. Whether or not it's Chris Minns' last, for now, he's the favourite. Of 100 voters, most say he's doing a good job.
I think Chris Minns could run as Prime Minister and he'd get it easily.
She's got a huge job in front of her to defeat him.
But a year is a long time in politics.
To even have two people that are so strong.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
From timeless classics to the latest craze in collectibles, the hottest new toys have been unveiled at the Toy Fair in Melbourne. Items of all kinds have been put to the test to decide what will dominate wish lists for kids around the country in 2026. Hot Wheels Stunt Garage is popular and Pokemon cards are still a favourite, but the Zip String reigns supreme for the second year in a row.
Amber is back now with the forecast. Amber, showers are due to arrive tomorrow.
Yes, and wet weather is on the way for Sydney and the Central Coast. Warnings are in place across parts of the state tonight. Your detailed outlook for the week ahead coming up next. Hello again. The cloudy skies are here to stay for now, with showers also forecast across Sydney and the Central Coast tomorrow. It is currently hovering around 24 degrees in the city. Still very muggy out there though, with humidity currently hovering above 80% in multiple suburbs. Let's pick up the satellite image now. We have this low pressure system and associated trough that have been moving across New South Wales today. Now, coupled with tropical humidity on the eastern flank of that system, we are seeing a very broad rain band with associated storms developing. Warnings remain in place for that very large zone there in yellow, with 70 to 90 millimetres possible over 6 hours tonight. We'll see that wet weather push into the southeast tomorrow. We've then got a brief break before a cold front and another trough move in, and that will bring the next round of showers as we move into the weekend. But until then, rain forecast in Canberra tomorrow, a possible drizzle down in Melbourne, partly cloudy skies forecast in Hobart and in Adelaide, a sunny 34 forecast in Perth, showers on the way for Darwin tomorrow, 29 under partly cloudy skies in Brisbane. Statewide tomorrow, we've got that widespread rain, moderate to locally heavy falls on the southern ranges, slopes and eastern parts of the Riverina, though we will see that ease to scattered showers through the day. Scattered falls also likely about the central west and northern inland plains. Closer to home, showers forecast most likely during the morning and early afternoon, around 4 to 10 millimetres in the city. Falls potentially a bit heavier across parts of the west. Daytime temperatures tomorrow hovering between 25 to 28 degrees. We do have a strong wind warning that will remain in place on our coastal waters tomorrow. Northeasterlies running at around 25 knots, though reaching 30 knots offshore during the morning. But back in the city tomorrow, a cloudy 27 degrees forecast. Those showers expected during the day. Now, thankfully, we'll see that reprieve from the wet weather midweek. Conditions should clear by Wednesday, remaining mostly dry on Thursday. We've got a mostly sunny morning expected on Friday. There's the chance we'll see those showers and maybe a storm develop later in the day. Then the next round of showers arrives just in time for the weekend. It will remain a bit warm though, so humid too, but looking a little bit wet across the city tomorrow, Mark and Ange.
Okay, just tomorrow to get through. Thank you, Amber. That is 7 News for this Monday. We will have updates for you throughout the evening and special coverage of developments in the Middle East at 9:15.
From all the team, I hope you have a great night.
Good night.